You know, it's
Probably why they don't want to. Right?
yeah,
You know, because they're
you know, to make all that effort, and then what, you know, I think what his life would be like after, because once it seemed like my my opinion was he had a heart valve replacement probably about 16, 17 years ago, and he had a tissue valve put in, you know, pig tissue, I think, and those don't last that, you know, forever. You
right.
know, it's, you know, when my brother actually had one put in, he put in had a mechanical put in because, you know,
Right.
they last longer. They don't last forever either, but they last longer. And once it started leaking, he had bad kidneys to begin with. I mean, his kidneys were functioning at like 25%, and you could go down to about 10, and then once you go below that, you got to be considering dialysis. And so once that valve was leaking, and the blood
Back it
wasn't
up. Yeah.
flowing, well, yeah, it wasn't feeding the kidney enough, and so water buildup, just fluid buildup,
Right. Right.
and not that they do things to try and have the kidneys work harder, I guess, to get the fluid out,
Diuretics. Yeah.
but uh, they started fooling around with that, and he like basically saw the doctor, the cardiologist, 3 times, where he was building up water, and the Lasix wasn't doing the trick. And on the third visit, he just goes, he's got to go to the emergency, go in the hospital and put on an IV diuretic. And it's hard to say how, the swelling in the legs for sure went down, but when he's prone all the time, it's hard to say did the diuretic really work, because it seemed like it was all in his abdomen then. It wasn't in his legs,
Right.
because his legs weren't the lowest part
Exactly.
anymore.
Right.
Um,
That's why my mom was like,
yeah. And it is, I expected him to outlast my mother, to be honest. I mean, it was like I always, because he had like a number of surgeries and that, but it just didn't play out that way. But it really didn't have any, I mean, I kind of had him convinced, well, just keep going, even though
right.
mom's gone, I'll still come keep an eye on you. And he was like, yeah, all right, I'll shoot for 100, but it just wasn't in the cards once he started retaining fluid. And to me, it's like, what he would have had to go through it would have been indeed a valve replacement at least. And then whether or not his kidneys, he might have ended up having to be on dialysis
Right.
even after that. And that could kill him. It's like,
Right. And my mom was on, when she was 92, and she was on dialysis for 6 months, and that just beat her. I mean, I've never, after her first treatment, I mean, they were really aggressive. Like the first, she had like dialysis 4 days in a row. I mean, I'm like, okay, you have like no fluid. I didn't tell her, like, you have no fluid left in your body, because like, the amount of sunken, it's like, oh my God.
well, he never did, do dialysis, and so, to me, it was likely, likely the toxins in the body that eventually, broke down everything else. But it was hard, because it was like, he got to a point in the hospital where he kind of like felt like, well, let's just get out of here. I'm not feeling any different, and
Right.
take me to my house. And I'm like, well, even early on, and I just go, well, we can't go anywhere until they release you.
Right.
And then once they were, just basically, saying hospice, well, there's no way I was going to try and do it at his house, even though that's what he wanted, just because I need more help.
Right.
It's like, and little did I know, I mean, he really couldn't walk anymore. And so, but I didn't know. And then but even at, getting him out, I was saying, well, can't we have him go to rehab and get a little bit stronger, just even? And just saying, like,
Medicare's not going to
Well, no, it wasn't even so much that. It was just kind of like, you go to rehab for a long-term benefit,
Yeah.
not,
Right.
to get ready for hospice.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. And hospice nurses aren't there all the time. They're only there.
No, exactly. And so, I mean, just even with that, I mean, it was like, my one son lives somewhat close to me, and just for my wife to be around too, to help get him in and out of, out of bed to the pot, or, even though it was in the bedroom, but it's like, I got to, that's how I hurt my hip even. I was helping him, and she was at work, and it was like, I was just helping him get into bed, and it's like just pretty soon his legs had nothing left, and he just dropped on me, and so
you're carrying.
So then it was So it was like, and I didn't notice it so much at the time, but then later I was like, I think I was going down the stairs, and I almost fell down the stairs because my, just hip, just felt, intense pain, and it felt like it, was dislocated.
They play here now on Wednesday nights too. They play Monday and Wednesday.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
And then Aurora, they play the Wednesday, Friday, and now they have Sunday mornings.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah. I remember signing something for that, but it's like, I'm not going to get up Sunday morning.
Right. I usually go. I try and go with my wife on Sunday. Every other Sunday, so I try and go there.
I once, I did. Let's see, he passed in September 18th, and so I didn't play for about 3 weeks, and then I started playing again, but it just seems to get aggravated without too much. So, it's like I'm not going to play in a tournament and lose 100 points.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Wait till you're at least 95%.
Yeah. And again, even if I'm, like when I was practicing the other night, it's like I'm babying it, where I'm not, wanting to play hard and step quick. And so it's like, well, then I'm not going to play good, even though, all right, fine, I avoided pain, but I didn't play good.
Right, exactly.
I don't know if you know Mohan Sukaresh or Sukaraman. He plays in tournaments. And he goes to Schaumburg mostly, but he lives in Westmont.
Oh, okay.
So, usually I do wait until somebody's, close by to invite him to the house, because it's like, yeah, fine, And I like to get out anyway, even though I got a nice setup, but it's like I like to get out and play a bunch of the players, but I don't mind, practicing. So I've practiced with him a few times now.
I still got your card too. I do. And I'm like, just my wife doesn't work many nights anymore, so I'm like, I'm only playing here on Monday nights, and then I'm trying to play on Fridays when she goes there. Many nights anymore.
Well, feel free, although, like even here, I'm cleaning out my father's house, and so that's going to be a project that'll keep me busy forever.
Trust me, I know what
You could imagine what somebody accumulates in 96 years.
Oh yeah. Trust me. I mean, we just ended up, we couldn't get some of the stuff, like, she had this, like, brand new leather couch, it was powered, we could not give the stuff away. We had it on websites, community websites, and it's like free. Dining room set, we just take it.
Yeah.
We ended up just calling, I got junk at, we got as much as we possibly could. And then they took it.
I'm just dealing with, making sure I get through the papers, and because, unfortunately, it wasn't something, for the most part, my mom took care of the finances until later, and then even though I was doing it, I wasn't really purging. I was just paying the bills, I'm back into, 2003, throwing stuff out.
Right.
It's like- yeah, gosh, let's see. Next week, they would have been married 72 years.
Wow.
Yeah, Mohan's a pretty good player. He's got a low spinny loop, and it's kind of hard because it's like I can hit those, but it's like if I'm warming up with them, it's really not going to be fun for him if I'm quick hitting them and then points over, because I'm either going to make it or miss. So I'll back up and hit, but I'm not practicing what I need to do to win points.
Exactly.
Because there's no way with pips I'm going to win a battle of hitting from a distance. It's like.